at some level inspired by the story of Bombay Talkies. And it turns out, Vikram, I think I came across this lovely, and again, a shout out to a clip on YouTube, which is your TEDx talk, I think in your school.
Yeah.
You know, you speak about your life. I think it was fabulous. 15 minutes. I think watch that and then come back to this conversation. And it turns out that the first film that you were going to make, it was going to be called Bombay Talkies, and that it was going to be, your debut with Amitabh Bachchan. Yeah. Take us through that story in detail now.
So there's I think, and part of it kind of leads down to Jubilee, because I think there's an obsession with, and maybe it's the age, right? I became an assistant director to Sanjay when I was 20 years old. I was thrown in at the deep end, literally, with this guy where you're working 16 hours a day, 25 hours a day, whatever. It's just like, it doesn't matter. He's super hardworking, but as an assistant, you are also, there is no, at that time, there's no demarcation of first AD, second AD. It's like you're chief assistant director and assistant director, and you're doing production plus creative plus post plus everything. So it was beautiful as film school, because not only are you immersed straight into the writing of it and, writing, music sittings, art department, you're actually going to costume to Dadar market to be able to buy kind of like borders for, the dancers. You're doing everything at that level. And then in the shooting, you're also sitting with Sanjay and, learning how to sort of like break down a scene and what shot breakdown is and why camera moves when it moves. So, all of that was, so I think that being a little bit enamored by the world of it, right? And sort of like saying, oh, this world of like making or filmmaking is so interesting and so pretty, and everything's about.
And that's something you know now.
Something, yeah, but also just the aesthetic of the behind the scenes aesthetic of what a film set looks like is always gorgeous, and I think there was that kind of drove me. So then when I finished that, I met Bhavani Iyer, and then I had this idea about this filmmaker kind of making his last movie and the reasons he has to sort of like do it, and we wrote it. I took it to Mr. Bachchan, he loved it, and I was like, okay, this is great. I'm set.
How old were you?
I was 25.
25. You got access to Bachchan. Not bad, huh?
Not bad. Yeah. No, I know. It helps to be an assistant director.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought it was like I'm here, man. And as the TED Talk says, it's just like you think that it's over there. It's just like there's a long way to go before you kind of get.
So is Bachchan like sort of a character from 8.5 or something?
It was a sort of like, it was imagining, we were like, okay, imagine a world, and it was actually kind of true around that time. So imagine a world where, because Rishikesh Mukherjee was still alive at that time. So it was like, imagine a world where Rishida, the guy who's made all those amazing films in the 70s, right, has this one story that he really, really wanted to make, never could make it. But he now has to make it with a existing current movie star of the time. I'm not going to take names, but who's like, who's never done a serious role ever in his life, never won an award, but wants credibility, and then therefore it's this unlikely meeting of two people to end up creating something which is eventually becomes a bit of a magical story for the two of them, but it's just in the beginning, it's just like they hate each other's guts, they can't stand each other, and sort of like doing it. It's about a legendary director making his last kind of like film. So that was the setup. I couldn't get the second actor, unfortunately. So then things just went along the way.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.